Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy with the Hazbin Hotel stuff going on. I love the show. I've been seeing its praises for the longest time, and this video by Sarcastic Chorus popped up on my feed. How to kill your premise in under 2 minutes. And it hit me, because realistically, this is a sick title and theme for a video. I have a lot of thoughts on this exact point that he is making in his title, so we are getting right into it right now. As you know, Hazbin Hotel came out. The theme is you have all these sinners in hell. The main character, Charlie, also known as Moist Critical, is trying to redeem these sinners to get them to end up going to heaven. The hilarious part is this is a process that has never been proven to actually work. So in hell, people get exterminated there once a year. Once a year, the angels come down, they exterminate a whole lot of them because it's overpopulated, and hells yeah. So Charlie's like, well, let's fix the—
Hey guys, we're gonna fix the problem, everybody, by simply, we're just gonna redeem these sinners and we're gonna get them to go to heaven, so therefore you don't actually need to go exterminate my people.
So with that said and done, it's a great premise for an actual series, which is why, in my opinion, Hazbin Hotel is absolutely fantastic. It deserves way more respect than the critics give it, and people are just not based, unlike me, who is based. There's a flaw here. The flaw is, in the first episode, we meet Adam. Adam is an angel, and in heaven, but Adam is an asshole. Suddenly, you start to wonder if redemption works, especially because we've never seen that ever happen, and even if it does work, then how the hell did you get Adam in heaven? Because Adam, in this show, is an asshole. It leaves you with so many questions. Like, the entire premise of the show is redeeming creatures to end up going to heaven, when realistically, this probably can't even happen. So, I get this title so well. How to kill your premise in under 2 minutes is so real. But that's exactly why I think Hazbin Hotel is great. And I'm gonna make probably a main channel video on this exact point. Because Hazbin Hotel is not about changing people. It's about how people can't change.
To ensure hell and its sinners could never rise against them.
To ensure hell and its sinners could—
Oh my god, dude, I didn't even think of this. This is the point that he's gonna be harping on. The entire theme for the reasons of the exterminations is because you don't want hell to revolt. But in actuality, we don't know that demons could actually even kill angels at all.
Never rise against them. Never rise against them. Never rise against them. Never rise against them.
You know, it's crazy how
God.
one line can undercut the entire premise of a story.
Oh god, dude. I thought he was going an entirely different direction with this.
Rendering what could have been an otherwise solid idea for a story irrelevant, with it chugging along blissfully unaware that it's already given away the game, creating a contradiction between how the characters act versus the information that they know.
Yes,
Hazbin Hotel screwed up with this one line, as by telling—
Again, I don't know if it's screwed up exactly, because there's so many interesting parts to Hazbin Hotel that I think aren't fully explored yet, but one of the major big ones is the fact that it's not about changing people.
Audience, that the main character knows that heaven is only killing people to maintain power, not because of overpopulation, but then acting like Charlie still thinks this is about overpopulation and therefore a problem that her hotel can solve, when the actual issue is that heaven is just fucking evil. So what's the point?
Or are they evil? It's very interesting, because it's really very much seems like overpopulation and the idea of and premise of heaven killing people so that they never rise against them, they could have overlap. If hell gets truly overpopulated, right? Truly unlivably overpopulated, that would cause them to go to war. So, in order to make sure that they don't rise against them, they make sure they never get overpopulated and keep them in fear. It is very possible for these two things to coexist. I'm just saying.
Of the hotel. I know this is gonna come off as nitpicky or inconsequential to most people, but I promise you there's layers to how this one tiny section alters just my entire view of the show.
Interesting. I thought he was gonna go a different angle here.
And to dig into that, we have to first explain why the story worked better without it.
You know, because hotels are for people passing through temporarily.
From the pilot, Hazbin Hotel seemed to have a fairly simple plot. The story took place in hell, sinners can't—
See, that's what I love about Hazbin Hotel. I thought it was gonna have a simple plot, and suddenly it's like you have the overlords that have their own plans, and they're half of them hate each other and half of them like each other, and they have these plans and angels that could die but can't die, but one gets killed, but they try to figure it out. Like, you have all these weird geopolitical themes in Hazbin Hotel. I thought it was just gonna be a slice of life comedy.
Therefore, hell suffers from chronic overpopulation, so to deal with this, heaven would send an army of angels every year to purge demons en masse. The demons seem to have no way to fight back against the angels, so this yearly culling would become the expected norm, with all the demons in hell seemingly being just selfish assholes who weren't choked up about any of their friends or colleagues getting got.
Dude, I don't even remember that these guys were in the pilot.
With the sole exception to the—
I can't believe the V's were in the pilot and all these characters were there the whole time. I just never knew them because they didn't like actually have any voice lines.
This acceptance of the status quo being Charlie, Princess of Hell and a beacon of hope. Charlie is without contest.
She is so wholesome. My favorite part about Charlie is the way she ends all of her speeches with, "That's it, see ya."
The nicest person here. She's the only individual we see who's actually crying over the carnage, with her desire to do something manifesting in the Happy Hotel. As again, the stated reason for the extermination is overpopulation. So Charlie's idea is that if they can redeem sinners, get the demons who failed in life to atone for their sins and become better people, then they might just be able to one day get accepted into heaven. This would create an alternative to the exterminations, saving the day and encouraging an attitude of betterment, not fatalistic wallowing that was the norm.
Yeah, but again, and now in the show, you have this really incredibly interesting new idea. And that idea is that it's because they don't want them to rise up and go to war. If Charlie is so nice, why is she in hell? Because she is the daughter of Lucifer. Yeah.
Now here's why this premise works as is. Firstly, we don't know what heaven's deal is. Yes, as an audience, we understand that a group of people that wear masks and wipe out entire neighborhoods on site, like, they're never gonna be the good guys.
I completely disagree. I think that genocide, under the right circumstances, all right.
You can see how people would grow accustomed to it. They would come to see the exterminations as part of their everyday life, one that is inflicted upon them, but is also done because it has to be. We don't know why the angels are doing this, or
maybe they don't want the overpopulation because they're afraid once they get overpopulated and overcramped and because everything's gonna be so rough, they're not even gonna have a room to get a fucking erection in hell, or they're gonna decide, okay, let's wage war, and now when they wage war, it's gonna be like America, fuck yeah, and then they wage war, they go against the angels, they're gonna be casualties on both sides, it's gonna suck for everybody, so the angels decide, instead of actually getting them in a position where they're gonna actually have a pace where they're gonna need to rebel against the angels are gonna be like, all right, it's overpopulation, we're gonna have to wipe out a couple of you, so then we're gonna wipe out a couple of you so that you can live in this hellscape where you have no chance of actually rebelling, so you're gonna have to be forced to live your hopeless, pathetic, pointless life. Why can't they both be true? I think they can!
Why the demons think it's really happening, so everything is just really left up to interpretation. So then we have Charlie, who doesn't have a bad bone in her body. She could assume that this is done out of some messed up sense of necessity, that hell's overpopulation problem is that bad. Sinners allegedly can't die, so if you need to make room for new souls, you can rationalize it as a necessary evil. Something that doesn't feel good, but since this is coming from heaven, the quote-unquote good people, then you can understand why people like Charlie would give them the benefit of the doubt. That this really is an issue of overpopulation, making her desire to create an alternative feel valid.
I absolutely love the theme for Hazbin Hotel. My favorite arc in Hazbin Hotel is there was this guy named Verbalace, known for his beatboxing, and Charlie used her demon summoning ability to summon him into the world and then tie him down, chase him through the city, and rape him. That was in the OVA. You might not have seen that one.
She really does believe that heaven is a good place. A place that is worthy of her people who redeem themselves, moving from heaven to hell.
So again, a lot of people are harping on this point where they think heaven's full of good people, when heaven is in fact full of assholes in this show, right? Like that's like a whole big gimmick in this story, and I think it's important to recognize one little point. The point is, the people that end up in hell are sinners, and the people that end up in heaven are not the sinners. So listen, I'm not saying that there are no bad guys up there, but there are worse guys down there. So realistically, it is pretty black and white. In the words of Adam, you know, because the rules are black and white. There's no use trying to fight. They're burning for the lives until we kill them again. That's kind of the gimmick here. These guys are bad, all right?
Her going there is a good thing, so her trying to help people redeem themselves works. You understand the logic. They don't know if it's possible, but it's still a journey worth taking. We, as audience members...
Right? So she has to live this life and try to create a hotel to rehabilitate sinners to make them worthy of heaven. And it's not something that she actually knows she could succeed doing, and that's why it's so wholesome. You see, if this could be a success story and could actually work, well then that would be incredible. But the point is they don't know. So why would a sinner who's living here in hell, waiting for the next extermination, actually try hard to repent when he could just live his life drugged up, fucked up, going out there? Every hedonistic desire is at the tip of his fingers. Why would he risk all of that pleasure for a possible chance of going to heaven?
Yeah, we can have just our suspicions that heaven isn't all it's cracked up to be. That any group that defaults to decimating a population every year will probably be revealed to be evil on some level. But
wow! Just because they do genocide, you call them evil. Where is your empathy?
what's important for the story is that the characters don't know this for sure. This could be revealed later, that heaven has never been good, that they never would have given sinners a chance and trigger a darkest hour, where all the characters who work to be better people can slip back into
Serpentious
bad habits or realize that they like being good, showing that self-improvement
verbally saw this clip and lost his mind. I'm just saying.
Is that they like being good, showing that self-improvement
Man's writing out another $50,000 check now.
Is its own reward, and that being good isn't some prerequisite to go to a better place. As when you think about it, the incentive of being a good person to just be rewarded later is kind of at its core selfish.
It's an interesting point you're making. I am not saying it is not. However, a wise man once told me something that makes a lot of sense. Say you become a pious, holy man, a man of God, a man that goes ahead and just does good things all the time purely because you want a reward. You want to end up in heaven after you die, okay? And that is why you go about doing the nicest shit all day. Then let's say heaven's not real. Then you were just a nice guy. And realistically, that makes a lot of sense. So while I do get that doing things in order to end up in heaven is sort of selfish, you are doing good things. It's like, you saved my life. Thank you. I saved your life out of selfishness because I want to go to heaven. Please, if I am about to die and you have the ability to save me, and the only reason why you saved me is because you're going to heaven, honestly, I will take it.
So the people who end up in heaven, rather than just being the good people, it could also just be those who had the luxury to be good, or those who just restrain themselves for their get out of hell free card.
Pretty good point you're making. See, one of the major points in Hazbin Hotel is so many of these people are forced into the positions that they are. And a lot of people are not actually necessarily evil at their core. These are people that were forced. They were addicted. They were poisoned in a certain fashion. And that is why they are here. They are here because they were trapped in a cage that forced them to be the way they are. And unfortunately, you know, they were born in the gutter and they had no one there, and they were abused and manipulated and twisted into vile people. Can you truly blame them? Not really, but they did all of these sins and they're gonna end up in hell, and they're gonna end up suffering for eternity for something like this, and that's wrong. See, I like that point because you see what Hazbin Hotel is all about is really in the name of the show, Hazbin Hotel. Everyone in hell is judged on being a has-been. They are judged as the people they were. They are not being judged as the people they are. And that is one of the major themes for Hazbin Hotel. Every single person in hell is not at all ever gonna be judged for changing or growing.
Heaven in the Hazbin universe has been revealed to be kinda fucked up. Helva Boss pretty much confirmed this. The angels we get to meet are nice, but they're not good, with something as small as an accident getting them barred from the pearly gates. This was always going to be a thing, but Charlie taking heaven at its word that this is about overpopulation is what makes this story and her plan make sense. As if you have her know, then suddenly we have to second guess everything.
I do get what he's saying though. He's making a good point. Listen, Mr. Chorus is making a valid point here. I'm just saying it's not necessarily a contradiction.
So let's do that. Now to clear this out of the way, the line that Charlie says is out of a storybook. It is the retelling of how hell was formed, her father Lucifer's fall from grace, how he met her mother Lilith, and the hope is for Charlie to be the one to carry on Lilith's legacy. We don't know who wrote it, but the bias in the book heavily leans toward the author being Lilith.
Threatened by this, Heaven made a truly heartless decision.
One could say that this line is from Lilith's perspective, not Charlie's. That Charlie may say it, but that doesn't mean she believes it. This,
I see that.
though, is undercut by the fact that everything else in the book fully conforms to Charlie's worldview. From her opinions on her father to the tragedy of what happened to her parents, the potential for hell, all these other lines could have been said by Charlie word for word and nobody would question it. So let's not pull the—
True. I think that's cute. I like that idea.
It's not her card for the one line that fucks up.
I love Adam. What a freaking phenomenal character. I cannot believe how he was only in the show for 5 minutes and he's so awesome.
The story. But taking the line as is means that Charlie was raised on the idea that Heaven's use of the exterminations wasn't about overpopulation, but about limiting the power of hell. So
from this moment forward, no longer be referring to Adam as Adam. I will be calling him by his preferred name, Dickmaster.
that it could never challenge Heaven, removing any ambiguity that this was some necessary evil, but an atrocity done in the interest of maintaining power. In effect, the story has moved beyond personal stories of redemption and change. Instead, the focus has shifted to a larger scale conflict between what is basically nations. One where the idea behind the main character's plans feel out of sync with what they know.
I do get what he's saying. He's making a really good point. They should have for sure connected those dots. If it is actually what I'm saying, I am being charitable with my interpretation. That the idea of they don't want hell to be overpopulated because if they're overpopulated, they can't just follow their hedonistic desires, and therefore, if they can't do that, then they're gonna rebel because there's too many people and no room. So then to stop a rebellion, they stop overpopulation. Like, that is a leap in logic, and it would be really nice if something like that was explained. I do think he is harping on a good point here, and I think there has to be a reason as to why they didn't go that far.
As having sinners join Heaven won't change the fact that the angels are more focused on control than redemption. I mean, they have no reason to accept Charlie's plan, and she knows this. Even if demons could make it to Heaven, they would probably still keep killing people, as that would keep hell in its place and thin the herd out way more than just 1 or 2 redemptions here and there. Our perception of what she's trying to do with the hotel now feels off, as by telling us this, by introducing the angels in episode 1.
You also realize that it's very possible that she realizes every person that she saves, yes, it definitely helps with the overpopulation, but at least you're saving one person.
That rather than the story focusing on how people can improve, Charlie's big idea to save everyone boils down to the fact that sinners should change to gain the approval and acceptance of their oppressors. That they need to become better so that Heaven will recognize them as people by their standards.
Yeah, and because, again, it's pretty cut and dry. If you are a good person, you end up in Heaven. So why are we judging them as the has-beens that they are? Why are we judging them for their pasts? Why not judge them for who they are? It's a completely legitimate way to get them included or invited to Heaven, even though, as far as we know, that's not necessarily possible. But what's the alternative?
Standard, again, that has already been proven to be deeply flawed. With angels like Adam being misogynistic fuckboys, and the other one, Luke, telling Charlie that she doesn't matter, that angels are incapable of making mistakes. I think we just proved that all these angels are just awful.
Wow! First of all, why are you calling Adam an angel? Maybe Adam is just like a resident, okay? Listen, I'm just saying, like, if you were there in Heaven, all right? Think about it. Maybe Heaven, he's just bored. Bro was there for 5,000 years of just people being good people. I hate to say it, guys. I hate to say it, but if you're surrounded by only good people all the time, that'd be pretty boring. Like, we need a Verbalace paying $50,000 for Hazbin Hotel self-insert porn to keep the world exciting. Bro, Adam was in Heaven for 5,000 years. The only time anything even a little bit chaotic happens is once a year when he comes down to kill some demons. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. If I was there for 5,000 years, I'd look forward to the exterminations too.
These are the kinds of people that Charlie thinks sinners should better themselves for, whose approval the show is now built around gaining. You say that all of Heaven isn't like this, or that, oh, it's just some of the leaders here and everyone else is like kind of good. Their existence proves that Heaven itself is flawed. That even if you want to be charitable,
which is, again, an amazing concept, because you realize this whole show is operating on a... So, something that frustrates me is that a lot of people like to think that they know everything from episode 1. And I'm not saying Sarcastic Chorus does this. I actually think he's a very, very objective reviewer in general. But the point is, you don't know. You don't know. This entire show is based on a hope that redemption can actually get these people into hell. Heaven, I mean. That's the dream, that's the hope. You don't know if it's true. You don't know know, dude. You don't even know if God exists in Hazbin Hotel.
The other angels, while not being guilty of doing the thing, are not speaking up against it, instead allowing the exterminators to slay the demons. Hell isn't much better, there is a lot of problems here, but all evidence points to heaven just being a different kind of fucked up, and it feels like Charlie should know this, so her plan just feels off.
Or maybe she just doesn't know this. Maybe she was never given a look into the looking glass of what heaven actually looks like. It is a very, very real possibility that she is acting under zero actual knowledge and she doesn't know.
Also, disclosure. This is not me basing my take off of just one line in 2 episodes of the show. No, I'm basing this on the first 5. As yeah, I got screeners. So when I tell you that Hazbin Hotel feels like a side hustle in its own show, I want you to know that I'm from the future and dead serious.
God, I love this guy. I love how smug he is. Oh, God.
The hotel has yet to feel like it is going to be the thing that will actually save hell.
It is true. So far, the actual hotel has been very sidelined. Like, every episode is about everything aside from the hotel, which to some extent feels a little rushed. It would kind of be nice if we got, but again, we only have 8 episodes. We waited 4 years for this. We want to see the fucking plot, dude.
Struggling to feel like it's the thing that will save individual sinners. Instead, there's just constant pressure to use the personal growth of characters to prove something to heaven. But through all of it, Charlie continues to act like this is their one shot. Despite the intro pointing out that even if she is optimistic, that she is hopeful, she should know that overpopulation is an excuse, not the actual reason. So therefore, the goal of the hotel, if you believe that she knows this, the goal of the hotel is now effectively a PR campaign for psychopaths who have already made up their mind.
Damn.
If you cut that line, Charlie's behavior can still be viewed as sincere and well-intended. But with it, we take a story where the hotel part of Hazbin is already struggling for relevance, then we have pretty much a double disconnect. We're following a premise to a solution that we know won't go anywhere. It won't be accepted. Heaven is never going to do this unless someone else takes over. But the story and Charlie keep insisting.
I'm just saying, following that path down a, just completely uncertain as to what the future holds is what Hazbin Hotel is all about. Hazbin Hotel is a story about people trapped in their past. So how perfect is it? How perfect is it that all the questions lie in is if something could change in the future?
That it is possible, and relying on faith that heaven will choose to do good, even though all evidence just points to them doing what is in their interest. And you add in the fact that not only does Charlie say heaven is doing this for power, but then you show the angels are playing a full-on Call of Hell in just 6 months. It all builds to a sense that Hazbin has only just started, and it's already trying to outgrow its premise. It's juggling too many ideas and not—
I do get what he's saying. It is rushed. I'm not gonna say it's not rushed. We could have spent a lot more time in the hotel, but at the same time, it's been so fire!
Giving them the time that they need. All the while, the story acts like it didn't say the thing that it did and how it would give its characters pause to choose a different course of action. It feels like they wrote this line, then didn't think about how it would affect the characters and the rest of the story.
Damn.
This doesn't add foreshadowing.
I don't know. I guess we'll see how it plays off. But I could just see season 1 ending with, like, I don't know, Sir Pentious or something going to heaven. Like, everything sucks, everything fails, there's an extermination going on, people are dying. Sir Pentious does something selfless and goes to heaven. That would be insane.
For heaven being bad. They just tell you that. It doesn't set up heaven versus hell as being some inevitability. This line just exists and it undercuts the concept of the hotel. And this is bad in a season that is already struggling to make the hotel the focus of the story. Charlie, knowing heaven is doing this for power, implies that they would do this regardless of whether or not they consider sinners to be people and worthy of respect. So the whole concept of the show is screwed, and every choice this season makes only adds to that.
It's almost like the hotel is like home base, but nothing that actually happens in the hotel is really important. I know that I'm gonna get all therapist-y on you guys, but sometimes the best way to help somebody is to give them friends and people around them that also want to change and grow. The hotel doesn't necessarily need to have trust fall exercises to make these people grow as people. It just really needs to put them in a position where other people also want to grow and change. And it's those bonds and it's that positive surroundings that can make them want to be better people. And even though Dickmaster seems to keep saying that, you know, it's black and white and that's the end, obviously that's not the case, just simply because that's what the whole story is about. And dude, Dickmaster is going to eat his ass when Sir Pentious at the end of season 1 gets promoted it to Angel.
To me, this line is what fucks it, as rather than just questioning the plot, we're now considering inconsistencies in the characters.
See, I don't think it's inconsistencies in the characters. I think it's a much more complicated plot than we're giving it credit for. Like, right now, there's heaven and there's hell. So, and you'd think that hell would kind of be united and heaven would kind of be united, or hell would be chaos and heaven would be chaos. But just by the fact that we got the whole overlord meeting in episode 3, we very much see incredibly clearly that even among the overlords, the people governing hell, and these aren't even the head honchos. Dude, there is such an insane hierarchy. There's Lucifer, there's Charlie, there's the 7 deadly sins, there's the Goetias, right? Like the Stolas people. There's the overlords. There is so much more going on that we don't even know about, and we don't even know anything about the structure of heaven.
I'm praying that the show salvages this in the finale. But I am worried, and I have yet to be convinced that this line wasn't a mistake.
I hope it wasn't a mistake. I don't think it was a mistake. I'm gonna stand my idea and my positive spin on things literally until it's proven one way or the other. If this is never ever brought up again by the time the series ends, I'm gonna say, yeah, that was probably a mistake. I do, however, don't believe it was. I think that there's a very reasonable way to explain it the way I explained it, that the overpopulation could lead to a rebellion, and so I think that's possible, and I think it's also possible that it's just an incredibly muddied water here where the people in hell don't understand exactly what's going on. They are being fed the misinformation of heaven, and they are going to forever not know exactly what the truth is, constantly hearing different biases from different sources that they themselves don't know. Remember, these people here in heaven, these people here in hell, they've never been to heaven. The only one that might have been is Lucifer. This man controls all the news, bro. This dude controls the news. You're gonna trust him? This guy could be Alex Jones too, for all you know. With all the misinformation and with all the speculation, I think it's really, really interesting to see a dynamic of a world where people don't know why they're there, why they're suffering, why they're being killed out, and all I do know is I have faith that they will clear it up and faith that this show is gonna be pog. And if you do die in the extermination, I have one thing to say to you.
You're a loser, baby, a loser, goddamn baby. You're a fucked up little whiny bitch. You're a loser just like me.